I changed one small thing in my Etsy shop and doubled my revenue and profit. I'm going to show you the proof in just a moment. This one small change takes me no extra time after I initially set it up and will continue to make me gobs more money than if I had not made this change. As I continue to list new items with this change in place, and as I continue to cash in on the items I've already listed with this change in place, I will just continue to cash in on the sales generated by these listings. I'm going to tell you what that change was so you can implement it in your shop if you want to. About 3 months ago in this video here, I chatted about A/B testing. I will link the video down below. I also mentioned that I would run an A/B test in my own shop with break-even pricing versus profit pricing. I've done the experiment and the results are in, and they were really surprising. Which listings do you think did better overall? The results wound up being a bit more complex than I originally thought they would wind up being. Before we get to the actual results, I will briefly explain what break-even and profit pricing are, what A/B testing is, the logistics of how I conducted my experiment so you can conduct your own type of experiment in your shop as well. And then I will show the exact results I got in my shop. And we will top off the video with that really surprising thing that I learned about a very specific niche that you very well might be working in also. Hi there, Simply Shawna here. On this channel, we talk all about opening your own Etsy shop or your own online business and scaling it to a place where you can make a nice income, perhaps even 6 figures, and quit your full-time job. I'm a former 4th grade teacher, and that's what I was able to do. Okay, so let's quickly explain what break-even pricing versus profit pricing are. Break-even pricing is when you first list your item, you could price everything to just break even. Figure out what your Etsy fees are, figure out what your print-on-demand company fees are, plus the shipping. Have that number in mind, and then price your item really close to that number. So you can offer a super competitive price for your items that you're listing on Etsy. Profit pricing is where you have priced your items so that you're getting your profit. Maybe that's $5, $6, $7. But whatever it is, you've added that profit on top of what your cost is so that you're getting a profit. Now you might wonder why on earth would anyone do something like break-even pricing? You wouldn't be making any money, you'd be working for free. But the concept is that you could get caught in the algorithm on Etsy faster, launching that listing into a journey that has tons more sales than a listing that did not get that kind of launch to it in the algorithm. The idea is that that listing is more likely to get clicked on, more likely to get interacted with, more likely to get purchased quicker. And then once those things are happening, Etsy's going, ooh, this item is well liked by people. We're going to push it out more, making it even more likely to get purchased again. And then once it's got this positive quality score, all of our items get quality scores, and this is how Etsy, it's invisible, we don't know what the quality score is, but this is how Etsy figures out how much they are really going to want to promote your item, because if it's likely to make money, Etsy wants to promote it. Once the item sells a couple of times, then you hike the pricing up to regular pricing or profit pricing, and you're making profit all of the sales thereafter. But the idea is that you get a lot more sales on that item over its little life than you would had you not done the break-even pricing. I do have a video all about pricing if you want to hear more about that, and I'll link it down in the description below for quick access. I A/B tested profit versus break-even pricing for this video and just for my own knowledge, but there are many things you could test in your shop to make sure you have the very best strategies in place for your shop and your niches. A/B testing is a really powerful strategy. I'm going to say that one more time. A/B testing is a really powerful strategy. When you're A/B testing or split testing, you're looking to see which variation customers are more attracted to. So we would put out 2 listings and we would change only one thing about them. In this case, we're changing the pricing. There's lots of different things you could change. You could change the main mock-up photo. You could change the title and tags or SEO blocks that you're using, those words that customers or phrases that customers are typing in to the search bar to find you, to see which block of SEO or search engine optimization phrases are working best. In this scenario, we are going to be testing break-even pricing versus profit pricing. It's important to remember here that when you are running these A/B tests, you are only changing that one thing that you're testing. So since we're testing today, the pricing, that is the only difference that will be present in our two listings. I will be sending out the very same exact designs under the very same blocks of SEO, so the titles and the tags will be exactly the same. The mock-up photos will be exactly the same. The descriptions will be exactly the same. If I'm using a loss leader strategy, I also have that exactly the same. And I do have a loss leader strategy, and so all of my listings showed the same exact loss leader. So a loss leader might be, so let's say we had a small shirt at a cheaper price, and most of our items with break-even pricing are going to come to around $16 or $17 maybe. But our loss leader item is going to come to $12.99. We're going to make sure that's across the board. What that's going to do is in search results, when someone types in, let's say, teacher shirt, and they've got all of those search results from different shops mixed up on the first page, my listings will all come in at $12.99 because Etsy is pulling that starting at price, which my loss leader would be my starting at price. So in search results, both my listings, the listing that I put out there at break-even pricing and the listing that's exactly identical but is at profit pricing, they'll both be showing up in search results at that loss leader price. I think I just used the example $12.99. So they'd both be showing up at $12.99 in search results. Point is, everything's exactly the same. I'm only changing one thing and one thing only. And it is really important to do many trials before coming to a conclusion. That means do this for many listings and test the same variable over and over again to really see just how much more successful one option is over the other. You don't want to be drawing conclusions and making mass decisions for your shop based on something that could have happened by chance. I'm going to briefly explain how I conducted the experiment, and then we're going to get into the results. Over the course of about 45 days, I put together 100 listings, which was really 200 listings because I put them all out twice. So I had 100 designs, and I put them all out twice. I listed everything twice. So really it was 200 listings. 100 of them were break-even pricing. The other 100 were identical mock-up photos, SEO blocks, everything was the same except profit pricing. So the one and only one thing that I changed was the pricing. On the break-even listings, after about 15 sales, I went ahead and upped the break-even pricing by $1 each time someone purchased from that listing until it was at my regular pricing with the profit that I like to work in, which is usually right around $7 or $8. A few times the listing got away from me and it was suddenly at 20 sales without me raising the price. So I just went in that when I became aware of it and just upped it all the way and raised it like $7 all at once. And I'm going to predict some questions that I think I'm going to get. When it doesn't sell, when do you change it or do you delete it? I don't delete it, and I'm not going back in and babysitting them. I don't go in at any specific time and up all the prices. I'm too busy listing my next things. So they just stay there. And maybe after 4 months when they drop off, maybe I just let them drop off and I don't relist them. But I'm not writing anything down and going back in and checking on this. The next question I think I might get, what if it finally gets a sale like 3 months later? Well, if it's taken that long to start getting some traction and it looks like this listing just isn't going to be a big moneymaker, then when I get that sale, I just go ahead and price it to profit pricing so that the couple of sales that listing is going to get, I make a profit on. My idea is if it's getting those sales within the first month or two, then I want to use this strategy and let the 15 sales run through it before hiking up the prices to profit pricing. We are going to jump into the results now. I can't wait to share them with you, but you will want to stick around to the very end of the video as I am going to reveal the one niche that had completely and drastically different results than all of the others in this experiment. Overall, break-even pricing was the winner. Almost all hands down. Almost. I mean, this strategy has made me a lot more money. And I'm talking the listings that were launched with this strategy made me a lot more money than the listings that were launched at profit pricing. But you will want to make sure you are not applying break-even pricing strategies to this one particular niche that I did test out. And it's likely that you could be designing in this niche as well. I will also reveal why I think this is and some other niches that are known to do a bit better with higher pricing. I haven't tested them myself. I would be curious to test them, but I will share what I have learned on the topic by listening to others. First, let's look at the overall picture, and then we're going to take a side-by-side look at a couple of different listings. So we've got 200 listings. 100 of them were launched out at break-even pricing, and an identical 100 were launched out, but one thing was changed: the pricing, and we did profit pricing on those. I went through and added up all 100 listings that were launched at break-even pricing. I added up their revenue, and it came to right around $66,000 for those 100 listings. Then I went through and added up all of the listings, the very same listings that were launched out at profit pricing. And the revenue for those listings combined was $35,000 in revenue. That brought the profit to just my break-even listings to $18,500, and the profit that those profit listings, the listings launched at profit pricing, the profit they brought in was $9,800. Let's take a look at a couple of examples side by side. So we see break-even pricing here over to the left. In the last 30 days, it's had 4,498 visits. The one on the right, profit pricing, 250 visits. 185 favorites for the break-even, 4 for the profit. All-time sales, 1,209 for break-even. For the profit listing, 188 sales. And so for the break-even pricing, because so many more eyeballs have been on this listing, $35,311 is the revenue, while the very same listing that was launched out at profit pricing has a $5,524 revenue on it. And something I forgot to mention earlier is that we're launching these out at the very same time. So I launched them out back to back. They had the same amount of time to do what they have done. You wouldn't want to change the variable of time. Now this is the biggest example, the one with the most drastic results. I had quite a few listings with results similar to this. Break-even pricing, the revenue's at $2,162, and profit pricing, $685. We can see in the last 30 days that the break-even has had 179 visits, while profit has only had 22 visits. The one that was launched at break-even pricing is getting in front of a lot more eyeballs. Break-even pricing is on the left with $7,568 revenue. Profit pricing on the right, identical listing. Only thing that was changed was the pricing strategy, and it's got $415 revenue. Break-even has had 330 visits in the last 30 days, while profit pricing has only had 14 visits in the last 30 days. And then, of course, I've got a bunch like this as well, where I don't have sales on either the break-even or profit, but look at the last 30 days of visits. The break-even has 65 visits, while the profit only has 15 visits. So the break-even listing is still more likely to make a sale than over the profit pricing. As I was looking at the data, these were some pretty typical rows that I pulled from my stats. So on the top, you've got break-even pricing. You can see there, starting on the left, I have one that's $2,500 revenue, one that's $0 revenue, one that's $378, $582, another one at the end there, $7,500 revenue. Here's a typical row for the profit pricing listings. We've got $741 revenue, $153, $0, $0, $0 for the last three there. Just a lot more interaction with the break even, and I just kind of wanted to give you a glimpse at this. Some of them will do something, others won't do anything. This could be because the design was better or the market research was more on point. It just kind of depends. But overall, the results were pretty constant with the break-even pricing, just overall being better in most of the niches that I was testing. But now take a look at this little rule breaker. The break-even listing had a revenue of $2,300, while the listing that was launched out at profit pricing had a revenue of $18,608. Now, this was the most drastic one that was coming up in the favor of profit pricing, where profit pricing was winning. Out of all of them, this profit pricing listing did the best, and there was the biggest difference here between its identical break-even pricing listing that was launched out at the same time. So let's take a look at a couple of other listings from this particular niche where this was happening. So on the top here, we've got the break-even pricing, and it is not as impressive in this specific niche as the bottom here, the profit pricing. So starting on the left with break-even pricing, our listings have $375 revenue, $21 revenue, $107 revenue, $86 revenue, $0 revenue at the break-even pricing, where we would have expected that one to have been better. The same listings on the bottom at profit pricing. We've got $473 revenue, $1,315 revenue, $1,034, $351, and $741. So just overall, the profit pricing on this particular niche for listings launched in this particular niche did much better. And if you hadn't guessed it already, that surprising niche with the surprising results was the teacher niche. So I have to tell you, my teacher friends and I were most definitely surprised by this. So it just goes to show you not to rely on your assumptions. Nothing beats good old data, and this data was so easily obtained. And it was fun to watch the numbers as they were coming in. By just listing each of those designs twice, I was able to get all of this information. I would be interested in testing other professions, as my theory is this. Perhaps when people are looking at shirts for professions, they're thinking that they're going to be using them, at least for a teacher, over the course of the school year. You want that to last. You want it to be something that you can come back to many times. It's not usually a one event wearing of the shirt. So maybe there's a concept of quality that's going into that. Although again, I'm super surprised because teachers are always looking for a good deal. At least the teachers I know. As I said, I would be interested in testing this theory out with other professions like nursing, accountants, whatever other professions. But I definitely won't be assuming anything and applying what I learned to the teacher niche to every profession. If you've tested that out and you have any results for us, we'd love to hear it down in the comments. Some other niches that I would be curious to test with this would be the pet niche and children. This can also differ per product as well. Like perhaps with the pet niche, someone might be more willing to pay higher amounts for a water bowl versus maybe a t-shirt that they would wear. But I have seen data that suggests that people are willing to pay a little more for their fur babies. The perception there is quality, and they want to make sure that they're providing their pet with quality items. A children's niche, another one there, where that is supposed to be a niche where you don't want to price your items too low because that perceived quality, and parents feel better when they know that they've bought their children something that is quality, that is safe, that is going to be good for that child to be using or wearing. So again, I think they'd be worth testing, but those are particularly two niches that I've heard people speak on where break-even pricing might not have the results one might have thought they would. Another concept with this would be gift buying. So someone buying a gift like a t-shirt or a mug for a teacher might be spending a little bit more for the teacher than they would be, let's say, if it's a mug for the plumber. When people are buying gifts, they're not necessarily looking for the very cheapest item out there. They want to feel that they've bought a quality gift, but that can sometimes go hand in hand with how involved that person they're buying a gift for is in their life, and often they're interacting with that person. I have a resource that I'll link down in the description below if you're looking for more information about how to break into the teacher niche and how to list in the teacher niche consistently over the course of the year. Or you can join me in this video here and we'll talk more about the teacher niche. But of course, not until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.